I'm Debbie. I'm 67 years old. I swore off men until I met Osama.
How old is he?
Guess what, motherfucker?
He's 24 years old.
12.
Awesome!
These 90-Day Fiancé shows seem to have a thing for wild older women named Debbie. Because here we go full force with this new 67-year-old Carole Baskin-looking Debbie. I was thinking the only connection to Tiger King and 90-Day Fiancé was Jesse. I don't know what's more confusing about that weird connection though. The fact that Joe and Jesse are friends? Or why Joe picked this oddly photoshopped image to tell the world he loves Jesse. Also, to be clear, I saw a meme saying that Debbie looks like Carole Baskin, and she does. But she actually looks more to me like this lady. I'm embarrassed to admit that I've seen this grown-ups movie, but these women have the same vibe. Anyways, this new Debbie seems different enough from Colt's Debbie to make her own memorable story this season.
So I hear a different drummer drumming. I'm gonna start a new trend, man.
She is a bit, what's the word, eccentric?
Painting is my friend. It never lets me down.
Debbie grew up without any structure in her life and never had a good idea of what a healthy relationship looks like.
I was very, very naive. So I was very trusting.
So her first two marriages were not good ones.
He started traveling. I hired a private detective, and they showed me photos of him with another woman in another country.
But her similarities with Carole Baskin stop at how she looks, because her second marriage doesn't end with her husband disappearing in Costa Rica like Carole's did. Debbie's second marriage ended in divorce, while Carole's husband went missing under mysterious circumstances. Also, I keep seeing articles saying that they have proof that Carole's husband Don Lewis is alive, but some articles are saying that that's not true. If someone knows what the heck is going on with that, please let me know. This Debbie had sworn off all men until one day she met someone that brought her back the hope of finding love.
Osama. He's from Morocco. He is an artist and a poet.
They bonded over art on social media, and after talking online for 6 months, Debbie went to visit him in Morocco.
We had so much in common, and it encouraged me and gave me hope that he was a genuine person.
And during that visit, she realized that he was much younger than she originally thought.
He's 24 years old, but I love him.
24 years old, and she's 67, so that's a 43-year age gap. Holy crap.
After years of communicating, Osama said, "Debbie, come to Morocco and be my wife."
And now she's getting ready to actually move over to Morocco. She does seem like a lot of fun, but what does a 24-year-old want with a very much older lady? She leaves out a lot of other details about their relationship. Luckily, her son Julian can help fill in the blanks.
This guy's young, okay? He lives in a third world country. He has no job.
So this guy doesn't have a job. There's a huge red flag. Does this remind you of anyone? Anyone at all?
In all this time, he has never asked for money.
Not yet.
I feel like this is a trick way of saying that he hasn't asked her directly for money, but she probably has offered him money thinking it was her idea. Her son has already said that this guy doesn't have a job, so if he wasn't getting money from her, how was he getting by? The only thing we know for sure is that this guy is not technically a catfish. Debbie has met him in person.
I hate the fact he's young. I wish he was a grandpa, but he's not.
So this isn't one of those Dr. Phil stories where the older lady sends money to a man that never existed.
He's my man. It's my life.
He doesn't exist.
As long as he's in my mind, he exists. Go to hell.
Exactly. Thank you.
But there still is a concern that this guy is using her for money.
Before you get married, I'm gonna find out what the hell's really going on, because I know damn well he's not doing it for love.
And Debbie's lucky to have family that is at least trying to protect her.
My son Julian, he's afraid Osama's after me for my money, so I decided to get a prenup.
That is a smart move, but you can tell that it wasn't her idea. But hey, I'm glad that someone is looking out for her. And this guy doesn't seem to be a giant toddler like Colt.
This is going to make you feel a lot better when you talk to my lawyer.
Your lawyer's not gonna convince me that you should marry this guy.
Her lawyer actually ends up answering questions that I've always wondered about.
How do we know that that country is going to honor our, contract?
I never understood how a prenup worked when you go to another country. Debbie's assets are protected as long as she keeps them in the US, which is good. But this lady seems impulsive, and I doubt she will just keep this situation simple for herself. So if she goes rogue and starts moving money around, I'm sure she can still get screwed over by this guy. Debbie doesn't think that she can get Osama over to the US because of their massive age gap. And that makes sense, but does that mean that she won't ever try to get a spousal visa? I could see her planning to stay over in Morocco, like Jenny did with Sumit, but the lawyer also mentions that Debbie owns a house, and it doesn't sound like she's selling it. So there are not any detailed plans for her to live in Morocco permanently and give up everything in the US yet. That's a relief. She has a prenup and her assets back in the US waiting for her if this all goes south. That's probably the smartest way to recklessly marry someone 43 years younger than you.
Jesse Meester wants to remind you to subscribe to this channel. If you don't, he will appear in your room tonight and give you a motivational speech for 3 whole hours.
It is an illusion.
How about your future husband? Does he have anything? How old is he?
He's 24 years old.
12.
Debbie could technically have grandchildren the same age as Osama. Yikes. That has to be so weird for her son to hear.
What's to say that he doesn't manipulate her to transfer money?
We hope that you don't do that, Deborah, because you need to protect your future.
So the answer is don't, Debbie. Don't do it. She's going to do it.
She has all the assets, and she could stand to lose everything she worked for if they're not protected.
Debbie asks what she can do if this ends up being her true fairy tale romance. And to me, she's hinting that she already plans to give him money right when she gets to Morocco.
I would suggest putting money in a joint account so that you have control over it still.
So she will need to create an account over there and add him to it. So what happens if they do get divorced? Does he get half of what she has there or more than that? Good Lord, Debbie, please be careful. Her son catches on to her asking about spending money on Osama in the future, and thinks she already has spent money on him that she hasn't admitted to. Yeah, I'm sure she has.
You always watch what you're calling stupid.
This is
Sometimes stupid turns into genius, you know?
So do we want to take a guess on how much she has already spent on him? 50,000? 100,000 maybe? I hope that's not the case, but that's what this is looking like. And if it's really that much, she probably won't hesitate to bring all of her money over to Morocco when they get married. But her son might not need to worry at all. Because in the next episode, Debbie does head to Morocco, but her fairy tale romance doesn't seem to have a good start. On the very first episode of this season, there's a clip showing that Debbie and Osama hit a big roadblock.
Now you're telling me you're not going to marry me?
Because if I said to you this, he wouldn't just come.
You lied to me.
The question is why Osama has said he can't get married. I'm going to take a wild guess that his family is not supportive or even knows about her. And this will probably turn into another Jenny and Sumit / Jen and Rishi situation. Or maybe it's even worse, I don't know. So are we rooting for this lady to get her happily ever after? We don't know anything about Osama yet, including how his family feels about Debbie being 43 years older than him. We'll have to wait and see how this season plays out. Anyways, thanks for watching. Bye!